In some countries, children work 14-hour days, 7 days a week. In some countries, children as young as 12 years old work in the field picking crops. The United States of America is one of those countries. Good morning, my name is Angelica Peñaran. And the quote that I've just recited to you is from a documentary titled The Harvest, which was produced and released last year in 2011. And like that documentary, today I'm going to be talking to you about migrant child labor here in the United States. Now, if you can't already tell from my first and last name, I'm Mexican. My father was from Mexico, and when he crossed the border into the United States, the first and only job he had his entire life was working on the farms in the Kansas and Colorado region, where he unfortunately passed away due to a farm incident. So due to my personal experience and extensive research on migrant child labor in the United States, I will talk to you about what the problems are that are actually happening, why this has still occurred up into the 21st century, and what we can do to stop it. Now, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, it was reported in 2009 that over 519,000 children under the age of 20 were working in our fields. Of that 519,000, an average of 113 children will die every year due to farm-related accidents working on these fields. Not only are their lives at risk, but their health. The fact that they are working in fields where they are exposed to dangerous machinery and hazardous equipment, as well as deadly pesticides and chemicals that our crops are saturated with while they're working in the fields. As if their death and their health problems were not enough, the fact that they are losing out on their future in education, because according to the Association of Farm Worker Opportunities, 50% of these children will drop out of school. 50%. And that is because they are unable to keep pace with the other students, with their peers, because the crop season is during the summer, and they must be pulled out of school early and start school late so that they can help their families in the fields. Now, a lot of us didn't know that this even occurred, and that's one of the reasons that it's still happening, is lack of awareness. The other reason is that there is no enforcement for policies that are in place to protect these children, and these policies aren't necessarily very good. Did you know that it's actually legal in some states here in the U.S. for children as young as 12 years old to work in the fields? It is legal for a 12-year-old to pick tomatoes, but it's not legal for that same 12-year-old to apply for a job at a grocery store. But there is a significantly less amount of harm to him or her. Not only that, but the penalties for employers who hire children are not strong enough for them to consider changing their practices. Now, what we can do is educate each other. Talk to a friend, talk to your parents, talk to your roommate. Not only let them know what's going on or why this is still happening, but what we can do to change it. In 2011, there was a proposition proposed to Congress known as the CARE Act of 2011, also called H.R. 2234. In this bill, it proposes that the minimum age for people to work in the agriculture industry should be 18 years of age, that should an employer be found not in compliance with this regulation, he or she could face up to $15,000 fines per incident. Not only that, but should a child be killed or experience some kind of injury while working on these fields, the employer could face up to 5 years in prison. I feel like these penalties are strong enough, they could be stronger. But not only that, the bill proposes that we seriously enforce these new penalties and regulations, because it's lives that are at risk right now. So, in order to get this bill passed, all it takes is a couple clicks of the mouse. If you log on to govtrack.us and search for H.R. 2234, you'll see an array of information, including the text of the bill itself, so you can see exactly verbatim what it says. Information such as who are the co-sponsors, what's the likelihood of the bill to be passed, and you can click on a button that says take a position. This will then take you to a page that tells you what you can do individually to make a change and make sure this bill is passed. One is be a leader of information, letting people know what's going on, letting them know that this bill needs to be passed. The next important step is to write a letter to your Congress representative. A lot of us don't know who our Congress representative is, and that's okay. This website does everything for you. It has a link to a website called popvox.com, and on this link, it literally writes the letter for you. It's a statement that simply says, yes, I support H.R. 2234. You can feel free to write your own personal information or expand on the letter. If not, you simply hit send, enter your email address, and it sends the letter to your personal representative. You do nothing but click a couple of buttons and let others know that they can do the same. So now that I've talked to you about migrant child labor here in the U.S., the fact that there are an average of 113 children dying in our fields so that we can eat our fruits and vegetables, why this is still going on at this day and age, and why H.R. 2234 needs to be passed, I'll help you remember that child labor is not just a third world problem. It's happening here, it's happening now, and we must stop it.